The ballroom was buzzing with laughter, champagne flutes clinking, and the faint sound of violins drifting through the air. It was one of those nights where the elite gathered, politicians, celebrities, and the wealthy, all under one roof. The charity gala had been advertised for months, boasting of record-breaking donations and a night of glamour for a cause. But all eyes turned when a sharp, echoing smack cut through the music. At the center of the ballroom, near the grand staircase, a young woman stood frozen, her hand still hanging in the air. In front of her was a stunning black woman in a long emerald gown, her cheek red from the force of the slap. Gasps filled the air. The stunned silence that followed was louder than any music. The woman who had slapped her was Olivia Grant. Blonde, mid-30s, and ambitious, Olivia had clawed her way into New York's upper circles, often reminding others of her exclusive connections. Tonight, though, she had gone too far. And the woman she had just struck was Evelyn Carter, wife of Marcus Carter, the billionaire philanthropist who had practically rebuilt half the schools in Brooklyn and funded hospitals across 3 states. Everyone knew him, everyone respected him, and everyone adored his wife. Olivia didn't know it yet, but she had just made the biggest mistake of her life. It had started innocently. Evelyn had been speaking quietly with an older gentleman about the literacy program she ran in Harlem. Olivia, walking past with a glass of champagne, overheard only fragments of the conversation. She thought Evelyn was bragging, flaunting her position, her influence, her power. And something inside Olivia snapped. Maybe it was envy. Maybe it was the resentment she carried for years of being overlooked by people richer, more elegant, more gracious than her. Evelyn represented everything she thought she deserved to be, but wasn't. Olivia marched up, interrupted the conversation, and spat out, "You think you're better than everyone else, don't you?" Evelyn, caught off guard, tried to smile gently. "I don't believe that at all. I was only sharing." The words barely left her lips before Olivia slapped her. The gasp that rose from the crowd was like a wave. Heads turned. Conversations stopped. Champagne glasses nearly slipped from trembling hands. "Olivia, what have you done?" someone whispered harshly nearby. Evelyn didn't raise her voice. She didn't retaliate. She simply placed her hand on her stung cheek, her calm eyes locking with Olivia's. For a moment, Olivia felt victorious. She thought the room would back her, that people would admire her boldness. But instead, she noticed the crowd shifting, people whispering, eyes darting toward the grand entrance. Marcus Carter had just walked in. He was tall, broad-shouldered, commanding the room with nothing more than his presence. The billionaire, dressed in a sharp black tuxedo, had that rare kind of authority that didn't need words. When he saw his wife with her cheek flushed, his smile disappeared. He strode forward, and the sea of people parted for him. "Evelyn," his voice was steady, but it carried. "I'm fine, Marcus," she said softly. Her composure made the moment even more powerful. But Olivia's knees went weak. She realized who she had slapped. Her confidence crumbled. All at once, the truth struck her harder than she had struck Evelyn. She hadn't just slapped a stranger. She had publicly humiliated the most respected woman in the room, the wife of a man whose influence reached every boardroom, newsroom, and courtroom in the city. And the way Marcus's dark eyes narrowed on her made her stomach twist. "Apologize," Marcus said simply. Olivia's mouth went dry. I didn't mean." "Apologize," he repeated, his voice lower now, like thunder before a storm. Her eyes darted around the room. No one defended her. No one stepped in. Her so-called friends avoided her gaze, suddenly fascinated by the floor. She realized she was utterly alone. Her pride told her to resist, to explain herself, but the weight of the silence crushed her. She turned back to Evelyn, who still stood tall, regal, unshaken. Tears pricked Olivia's eyes. She had meant to hurt her, to make her feel small. Instead, it was Olivia who was shrinking. "I'm so sorry," she choked out, her voice trembling. "Please, forgive me." And here was the twist no one expected. Evelyn didn't demand her removal. She didn't humiliate her further. She didn't even raise her voice. Instead, Evelyn took Olivia's trembling hands in hers. The same hands that had just slapped her. Her voice was steady, kind. "I forgive you." The crowd gasped again, but for a different reason this time. Marcus looked at his wife, both proud and amazed. Olivia broke down. Right there, in front of everyone, she crumpled into tears. The anger, the bitterness, the jealousy, years of it, came pouring out. And Evelyn, the woman she had tried to destroy, held her. Later, people would say that moment was bigger than any speech, bigger than any $1 million donation. They'd say it was proof of strength, not the kind that comes from money or power, but from grace. The story of the slap would spread far beyond the ballroom. But those who were there would never forget the sight. A billionaire's wife, slapped in public, choosing mercy instead of revenge. And a woman who had tried to shame her, falling to her knees, begging not just for forgiveness, but for a chance to change.